Force USA, the trusted name in strength equipment.
Alright guys, so here we are with the advanced video for the Monster G3. So your Monster G3 is the entry-level piece of equipment in the Monster range. Stay tuned for that Monster range. We've got lots of developments coming for you. Alright, so let's have a look. More advanced video, moving on down. Obviously there's a lot to this piece of equipment, so there's got to bear with us as we go through. Okay, so down the back here we've got barbell storage. So we've got barbell storage, one here and then one on the other side, so there's room for 2 barbells. Plenty and ample amount of weight plate storage, so that we've got 3 prongs on this side, 3 on that side. So for your barbells, your weight plates, there's heaps of storage. All right. Again, it's an off-the-floor design. Like all Force USA products, we've done away with the rubber feet. So the rubber feet generally over time can start to deteriorate, cause a bit of a mess, and can create a bit of a unstable machine due to rocking around. So if you are selling the product, obviously we recommend that you combine it with your VersaFit gym tiles. All right, I'm going to come on through into the unit, and if we come down to the back here, you can see the attachments that come with it. So we've got here, can be utilized for compound based stuff, so we've got hooks on either end, and it's also an easy curl bar. So we've got the bar here which is bent at an angle. I'll just show you quickly if we zoom in. So we've got more of a hands at a 45 degree, so that's going to work biceps obviously in those little exercises. We can do bringing in the hands a little bit closer, so that works your works the muscle on the inside of the bicep there. And then we can also utilize something like this for lat pull down, nice and wide, bench press, you name it. There's lots of sort of different avenues for that. All right, so we'll hook that back up. So as well as the easy curl bar or the bent bar, there's also your straight bar. So something like this can be hooked either side on your functional trainer, 1 and 2, and then utilized for compound movements. Obviously these are adjustable, so height adjustable. These from that low position, you could utilize it for bent over rows, strip deadlifts, even military press as well. And then if you combine the Monster G3 with the Force flat incline decline bench, you can bring it on in and you can utilize this for bench press as well. So very cool piece of equipment there. Alright guys, so let's have a look at the Smith machine feature of the Monster G3. So the Smith machine that's incorporated into the G3 unit incorporates a sealed bearing casing here, which slides nice and smoothly along your guide rods here. So if you look up top left here, you can see that we've got the Smith machine locked in place at that top point of contact. So there's around 15 of those either side, so that's allowing for multiple height adjustment. So I'm just going to show you a quick exercise. It's very simple, Smith machine. So basically a Smith machine, what it's going to do is provide compound based movements. So all those fundamental lifts like deadlifts, bench press, bent over row, everything upright row, all those sort of exercises. And make sure you've got a pen, piece of paper, write these exercises down, reference them on YouTube as we're going along. So the Smith machine, what it's going to do is allow you to perform those exercises with a lot more safety. All right, so it's great for a beginner and even your more advanced bodybuilding type guys that want to load up the weight. So let's just do a military press, for example. So from here, normally if I'm doing free weight, obviously I'm going to unrack the bar off your standard J hooks and then do your work. But with your Smith machine, she's locked in place. All right, so I don't need someone else to spot me to help the bar off. All I do is address the bar, come forward, rotate my hands forward, which takes that locking mechanism out, and from there I can perform the work that I want to do. And when I'm ready, let's say I get to a point of failure or I can't do any more reps because I'm fatigued in my muscles, it's quite easy just to rotate your hands back and she's locked in place so I can walk away. Now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to show you the squat exercise. So we've actually got the Force USA barbell pad here. So another addition that you want to be chucking in if you're selling these bad boys. All right, so coming on through, same sort of thing. taking the weight up, I rotate my hands back, which unhooks from that mechanism there. And from here, we've got a nice lift machine. And then from here, all I've got to do is rotate my hands forward, find a nice point of contact, and she's locked in place. I can walk away. All right, so it's going to give the user a bit of peace of mind. Some people, when they're starting out training, they're a little bit scared with using a free barbell. Something like that is a good way to sort of get them into training. Cool? Of course, as we're always worried about safety, we've got these which are on a bearing system which slide up and down on the guide rods. So they're just under this bearing casing. So let's say I want to do my squats, but I want to do a minimal range. Possibly I'm rehabilitating a knee, or I've got some issues with hips or whatever. Let's say I want to do my squat, but I only want to go down that far. One, like I mentioned, it could be rehabilitating an exercise, or two, you're training by yourself and you're a bit worried that, if you're putting on a bit of weight, you're going to get stuck at the bottom of the movement. So let's shut the safeties in level. As you can see, they're here and here. So let's do a quick squat. I'll just do a couple of reps. So here, rotating back, then from here, and then back. All right, let's say for argument's sake, I get to this point, I got so much weight on it, I can't get back up. All I got to do is I got to let the weight go. All right, so rather than the weight on this bar sliding all the way down, possibly causing a bit of damage to your G3, which we don't want, it's going to give you peace of mind knowing that this bar is going to stop at that point and not go down any further. Cool? So that's your safeties. So again, I'll put it back up, right to that top, lock it in, so you can move on. All right, so coming on forward, we can now look at the functional trainer. All right, so this is another part of the unit. So your functional trainer, let's take these out of here. That's your dip handle and your pop pin J hook. Put them down here. So you've got free guided motion. Here I've got a pop pin, and then on here you've got numbers. So they're laser etched into the steel all the way up. So that way I know if I've got this set here and it's displaying the number 6, all I've got to do is make sure that if I drop this down, I want to make sure that's displaying 6 as well, then I know that they're nice and even. All right, let's have a look at your functional based training. So how I like to use a functional trainer is a lot of unilateral stuff with a little bit of rotation. All right, so here. As well as that, you can do isolation based exercises, so you can do like a curl, you can do more compound type stuff, doing your flies. It's really good for core based movements as well, so a very popular exercise in strength and conditioning based gyms at the moment is anti-rotation work. So you can bringing the handle just to here and then pushing out. All right, have a look on YouTube at the anti-rotation stuff. Very important. All right. So carrying on with the functional based stuff. Here you can see we've got our sort of steel guide rod, and also acts as the power rack upright as well. So all I've got to do for moving this up and down is just pull that pop pin, and she slides down all the way to that lower position. If I want to get all the way up to the top, it's the same sort of thing, pulling that pin. So let's take it back down to the bottom and make sure that your uprights are maintained with a little bit of a silicone spray on a rag. Give it in a wipe just to make sure that action stays nice and smooth. So from a lower position, you can do things like single arm curls. You can start to bring in some of our attachments that come with the G3 and then do like a bicep curl. Let's show you quickly utilizing the functional trainer for a bicep curl. So I'll just get our dip handles out of the way, which I need to touch on in a minute. And then safeties. So they're out of the way, and you can see they're quite easy to adjust and take out. Not too much time wasted. All right, so I'll bring that to that lower position, lock her in, and I'll get my easy curl bar. All right. So I like training my arms. Who doesn't want to have bigger guns? We'll show you a quick one. Make sure you YouTube bigger guns. So we lock it in here, just into that eyelet. I don't know if you can see that. And we do that the same thing on the other side. All right, so now you can see she's locked in place. I'm just going to make sure that I've got the same numbers, 19 and 19, so she's level. Step over the bar. It doesn't matter, you can do either way, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to do it this way. So, grip the bar, come up nice and tall. All right, so you can see we're utilising multiple parts of the unit here. So we've got our functional trainer off the front. We've got our attachment for your easy curl bar or your curls. And we're just going to unhook that and I'll put it back up into its spot. So you can see that's quite easy just to unhook. And usually stuff like this, your attachments, people might have this lying around. They might not have somewhere to put it. So that's where you got to stress the fact that it does have storage. You can see our exercise chart here. Simply push down, rotate around, and she's going to sit in place there. All right, so carrying off that functional trainer, or moving on to the power rack. When you are setting it up, it's important to move these up out of the way so we don't have the cables obstructing the use of the power rack. So up nice and high, then we can chuck our J hooks in there. All right, so obviously it's laser etched into the steel, so I know that on either side it's going to be the same. Locked in place, so I get the J hook from the other side. Referencing the same number, so we've got 6 here. We want to be putting it here in 6 as well. All right, so hopefully that's nice and even. Then from there, we can get our barbell, which is in the storage at the back here. All right, so we've got our barbell. Sits on nicely on the J hook. I'll show you quickly just a very basic squat exercise. So I've got this obviously set at my height, so it's good for me, which is around my mid-sternum area. If you've got someone that's utilising the equipment that's a lot taller, obviously the ability for the J hooks to be adjustable is beneficial there. So if I was a bit taller, I was doing the squat, I might want to set the J hooks a bit higher. So it's important to note that it's multifunctional. All right, coming in, couple of steps back, couple of reps. All right, take the step forward and then rack the bar back on the J hooks. Okay guys, so we've utilised, I've shown you the use of the J hooks for the power rack exercise. So I just did a couple of reps just with an unloaded bar. So let's say an individual wants to put a bunch of weight on here and they want to do it a bit safer. That's where you utilise the safety. All right, so safety is just going to come into here, locks into place, and then whenever you're doing your squat exercise or other exercises, your safety's in place in case, for argument's sake, you get to a sticking point and you have to let go of the bar. All right, so that's going to be there to stop it, stopping the bar, traveling all the way down, banging your G3, which you don't want to do. She's a beautiful unit. All right, so we've covered your J hooks and the use of those for your squat rack and safeties. So let's move on to attachment which comes with the unit for dips. All right, so a really good upper body functional based compound movement, great for building muscle, building strength in your joints in that upper body region. So we'll just chuck it in here. It's got your pop pin feature. All right, so it just slides in like so, pull the pop pin and slides in place. Again, I'm utilising the numbers on either side, which are laser etched into the steel, so I know that they're nice and even. Then from here, hooking around, and you can do your dips. All right, crack. All right, so let's take those out of there, show you how easy they are to take out. And that takes us, we're doing the dips. So a good exercise to complement dips is chin-ups. And this Monster G3 accommodates that with a multi-grip chin-up bar. All right, so from this, you can do everything from wide grips, supinated grips, pronated grip, make sure as I go along, if there's nothing you understand, just write it down, make a note, and ask your team leader questions. All right, so the chin-up bar's got knurling on it, so that's like a laser-etched crosshatch on the steel, which gives it a little bit more surface area and just aids in grip. So this makes the bar a little bit grippier, which is important, especially with an exercise up in this point up here. If your hands are sweaty, which does happen when you're training, obviously they can slip out. But with a bit of knurling, just provides that extra little bit of grip. And making sure something like the Monster G3 can be combined with your power band. So if you've got an individual, definitely personal trainers that are training clients, or a beginner that still wants to do chin-ups, but they can't do them with their own body weight, you can bring in a power band like so. That can be chucked around the individual's knee, grabbing onto the bar, and then it's going to help or give a bit of aid in going up. All right. But this band can also be utilized for your dips as well, to help an individual or a beginner do dips. So let's take that off. All right, so from chin-up bar, it takes us down to the core trainer, or otherwise known as a Torsonator. So your core trainer just hooks into the front of the unit here. It's just got a pin mechanism. So you've got a housing, the steel pin which goes into the front, and then a housing which is attached to your Torsonator or core trainer. Slides in there, and then you've got a pin which also goes into the front of that pin there. All right. Then from here, to utilize the actual piece of equipment, you're going to need a barbell. So that's a good opportunity if you are selling this to upsell an individual or package it with the barbell, and making sure you're also packaging the G3 with all your weight plates. So all those are going to be sold separately with the unit. So making sure that whoever's purchasing it has got adequate amount of weight, and pushing them to maybe buy a little bit more. Okay, so that's to have a bit of a play with the Torsonator. Take my barbell out of my handy barbell storage. So it accommodates Olympic size. So that's your Olympic size sleeve there, and then which would fit obviously into the bigger hole. And then you've got your standard bar, which will fit into there. All right, so we're accommodating both for people. Let's just chuck it in here. All right, so once it's in place, cameraman, if you can see. Here, all right? Yeah. Okay, so from here, we can do obviously core trainer, so core-based movement, so it's like an anti-rotation, rotation-based movement. And you can also do some power-based stuff. So if you've got someone that's interested in combat training, MMA, obviously the popularity of UFC is growing. You can, get the juices flowing when in the sales process, telling people how it's great to increase your power of your punch, or just another way to build muscle as well. Okay guys, so your Monster G3 comes with a lifetime structural warranty, 12 months on all parts. Parts can be like your pulleys, your cabling, J-hooks, things like that, and 90 days on upholstery.
Force USA, the trusted name in strength equipment. Now available at forcefitnessequipment.com.